I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'd like to talk about the month of July, where we are going to have one of the most eventful months of the year of 2018, because we have some radical events that are about to transpire. I've been speaking about these events throughout the year, but now the time is where everything's coming together. Before we begin my predictions, I want to make note that I'm going to be having a conference here in Dallas, Texas, October 5th through the 7th, and I will be giving my future predictions live for 2019 to 2020. This will be an intense learning experience in Vedic astrology, where we are looking at bringing astrology into the future. So check that out. The website is futureofastrology.com. So with that, let me make you aware of all of the events that are about to transpire for this month. It's radical. We have the eclipses, and this lunar eclipse that is about to occur on July 27th beats all eclipses that I have been speaking about throughout the years. And the reason why this one is so eventful is because it not only is a lunar eclipse, but it is conjunct a retrograde Mars, and this lunar eclipse is with Ketu. So eclipses occur with either Rahu or Ketu, and Ketu does indicate loss. It does indicate separation, change, but with the moon, there will be considerable losses that are occurring. This is a total solar eclipse, lunar eclipse that's happening on July 27th. This lunar eclipse will be very tight with Mars. So the degree of the eclipse is 10 degrees of Capricorn, and Mars and Ketu will be within a degree of this moon. So this is going to bring out all sorts of radical events. There will be so much anger that has been building, that has been brewing, that will surface and will pretty much explode. So that is one of the reasons why I believe we've been having these volcanic eruptions, because it's very symbolic of all the emotion coming from deep within that is being purged. This is a time of purging. So Mars will be retrograde, and at the same time, this intense Mars, which Mars is a trigger. And let me remind everyone, Mars is likened to Ketu, Ketu's likened to Mars. So put those two together, they create fire. There will be fires everywhere around the world. Things are just really symbolically happening till the fires that are happening within us. So there's going to be intense anger. There will be terrorism. There will be fundamentalism. Everything seems to come to a head. That's what's actually happening, where everything finally does come to a head. So the very first part of July, I'm looking at July 2nd through the 4th. Mercury will be conjunct Rahu. This represents problems with travel, because Mercury is the Karaka indicator of travels, and it will be opposed the moon, Mars, and Ketu. What does that mean? There will be problems with aviation. There will be problems with computers. There will be major events that represent people's minds being out of control, being angry, being frustrated. And I will say this is not a good time to travel. Now, during the time around 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after a solar eclipse, which there is a partial solar eclipse, and this solar eclipse happens on July 12th, as well as there's going to be another partial solar eclipse on August 11th. So even 2 weeks out before the July 12th, as well as 2 weeks after, and pretty much the whole month of August, you're going to find the fire. And the heat in the northern hemisphere, there will be intense heat. So I know some summers are usually hot, but this one will be more intense. And that equates to the anger and the frustration that have been building for so very long. Now, another very interesting effect that is happening the day before this lunar eclipse, July 26th, Mercury turns retrograde on top of that. And Mercury will turn retrograde at 29 degrees of Cancer. Now, you've heard me talk before about the last degrees of water, the first degree of fire, but the last degree of water is called Gandanta. And Gandanta means drowning, literally. So it can mean figuratively that people are losing control. But at the same time, it usually literally does mean a drowning. So I get there's going to be storms on top of this, and even the hurricane season is coming in. The last time Mars was Gandanta with Rahu was the time that the hurricanes hit last year, exactly when it hit Houston, and then a week later hit Florida. Gandanta means drowning. But there is also another major astrological event that takes the cake, if you ask me. And that is, while we're having this eclipse where we have Rahu with the Sun and Mercury, and we have Ketu with Mars and the Moon, they are squaring planet Uranus, the planet that deals with earthquakes, sudden awakenings, massive change that happens unexpectedly. So we're having a period throughout this month in August of earthquakes, and they're starting earlier than just, so the entire months of June, July, August, and even a little bit into September, we're having these incredible disruptions, dealing with the earth shaking, dealing with volcanic eruptions, and probably tsunamis, because when we have the earth shake and everything's coming up, we also have the storms and the tides. Everything is coming to the forefront. Everything is changing. So Mercury retrograde, Gandanta, also indicates it's not a good time to travel. People are out of their minds. There will be more shootings. There will be mass disruptions. There will be incredible political overcomings of where people are going to be rioting, probably, because politically, this is a time of a revolution. This is a transformation. Governments are being brought down. Governments are changing. And this is all things that have to happen. Because why? There are scandals that are coming up this month that will surprise everyone. Because these scandals, mark my words, around the end of July as well, around July 24th, this will be when Venus opposes Neptune. And with this eclipse with the moon, Venus being women, moon being women, with Ketu, moon with Ketu, there are losses and betrayals, and there are deceptions, deceit with women that may be in politics. And there will be loss because the moon represents women. It is with Ketu, but Rahu is with the sun. So empowerment for politics and governments, but the downturn, the transformation, things are going to change. And this is also due to the fact that Saturn and Pluto are coming together. And actually, I believe there is a different placement according really to declination, where we're talking about the effects of Pluto. Pluto is going to be affecting Saturn more and more because they are aligned. They are parallel. So with that, in declination, you're going to find that we have the events of the Saturn-Pluto, which means that the whole governments throughout the world will be overturned and transformed and changed. Now, this is going to be a difficult month all around the world politically, and there's going to be major uprisings and probably protests everywhere, but there's going to be a big shift. And yes, President Trump will have a difficult time this month because the world is in chaos. So with Mars being also retrograde and part of the eclipses, it is also out of bounds, which is when a planet goes beyond the declination of 23, 24 degrees. It goes off the ecliptic. And what this means is things become out of control. So there are so many things talking about upheaval, change, transformation, violence, and people are angry. So what is coming of all of this besides the breakdown of the governments, besides the anger? What I think is actually evolving is this is coming to a purging, and this transformation is amazing in its results. So those of you that think this is all gloom and doom, this is actually what needs to happen in order to clear the air to bring a time that is much, much better. And eventually, even looking towards the month of September, October, when Venus is in Libra and starts its retrograde process, this is a time that will bring peace. Even though I know there's going to be more upheaval by 2019 and 2020. But once this is all transformed, people are going to come together. But this is not the time. This is the time of the surfacing of all the scandals and corruption that has been so prevalent in the government throughout the years. This is the time of the healing. So if you have strong political opinions, they are going to change because the truth is coming out. And you're going to find that those that have the strongest political opinions have the most difficulty with accepting things. And another thing that will promote a feeling of loss and desperation is that the stock market is due to take a nosedive during this month of July and throughout August. Watch how it goes down, down, down. And with all of the chaos happening in the world, it's no wonder it affects the economic climate. So watch that. And with this nosedive of the stock market, many will become desperate. This can cause some people to take their life. But another thing that will be influenced during this time is, remember, when it goes down, this is a time to buy because I believe it's going to go up again. It's going to rebound pretty much looking towards the month of October, November, December. There's going to be a nice rise. So this is an opportunity. Now, another thing is, you know how I'm big on cryptocurrency. It is not over. There has been a calm before the storm. And many countries that have had major economic downturns, people start investing in cryptocurrency. Now, there's going to be some major regulations that are going to be implemented throughout the next few months. But because of that, it's going to make cryptocurrency feel a lot more secure. And what is going to be happening is, as things turn downward, cryptocurrency will turn upward. And this has already been happening. This happened in Greece, where people started investing in cryptocurrency, as well as Italy right now. People are starting to get more involved in cryptocurrency. And you're going to see that by the fall, there's going to be a rise again. So as it's bottoming out or staying low, it is a time to really invest in things as they reach their low. So whether it's stocks, whether it's cryptocurrency. Now remember, I'm not a financial advisor, but these are the trends I see astrologically, and I think they can be used for great benefit. And here's another aspect that I think is beautiful during this time of chaos, is the fact that Neptune and Jupiter are in a trinal aspect. This represents a healing spiritually, and this is what is so necessary because so many people are being torn apart emotionally. And what is that about? Let me just say that Rahu, being in the sign of Cancer, Cancer is a sign of healing, of family, nurturing, caring, protecting. And Rahu's been tearing that all apart. What is that about? The family, the core essence that gives someone a feeling of love, a feeling of acceptance, feeling like they belong, feeling connected to others. That is the sense that family gives. So of course there's going to be those that feel disconnected from any roots of a family essence, will be feeling like they're going crazy. Yes, they're going to be drawn to such things as cults, and even, as I've been saying, things such as ISIS and extreme gangs are part of cults that make people feel together, feel connected. But this boils down to what's been going on in terms of suicide and death. People feeling so dark that they feel like there's no way out. What is this all about? Let me just say that those that feel very distraught and feel like the only way out is suicide, the whole culprit of this is the disconnection from others, the feeling of loneliness and isolation. And when people feel connected and loved, this is the healing. And this is what needs to evolve out of this. Realize that in 1999, there were the suicide rate escalated 30% and has been on an all-time high since then. 1999 was the last time Rahu, 18 and a half years ago, was in Cancer, and Ketu was in Capricorn. So it destroys, disconnects people's feelings. The moon is feelings. So we have the moon with Mars. Feelings are distraught. We have Rahu with the sun. The ego is destroyed. And it is with Mercury. So we have Mercury and the moon, which represents the mind. The moon represents the feelings, but it also represents the mind and consciousness. Whereas Mercury is how we process our feelings. When they're in opposition with these malefics, people are going to go crazy, out of their minds. And yes, there will be more suicides. And as I predicted, and I continue to predict this, there will be many, many famous people, icons in the film industry, in rock and roll, music industry, that will pass during this time. Why? One of the reasons is that there's planets in many of the older generations in the sign of Cancer. And many who have planets in the sign of Capricorn come under the stress and duress of feeling disconnected, feeling depressed. What is depression? But anger turned inward because of experiences and even personality types and past experiences that have been turned within and become depression, anger turned inward. And when someone becomes deeply depressed, they feel disconnected from others and family. If you see someone in your family or that you know well that has these signs of depression, please get them professional help, because these are the times that are most likely to have more suicide and mass killings than any other time. And this is the time that we have to be aware, because people will not be in their right minds. And truly the healing that I feel that must come through all of this is going to be love. Because remember, when people are deeply depressed, it's because they do not feel a connection to others. There is a sadness and isolation, and the only true healing to that is for those people to feel loved, to feel like someone cares. Because what happens is their loss, their deep depression, their anger is a pain that they are trying to suppress and not feel. It may have come from humiliation, disgrace, or things from the past, but regardless, many feel this pain and they have to suppress it. And many do it through drugs, alcohol, or the worst, which is suicide. They don't want to feel the pain of isolation and suppression of this anger. So the only way to truly get help and heal is family needs to come together, and people have to feel a reason to live, and it is always through other people, not things or money. Because look at the people that have just passed. Kate Spade, Anthony Bourdain, at the point of this filming, have just passed due to their sense of isolation. Both of them had planets in Cancer, Capricorn. Anthony Bourdain had his moon in Capricorn, where K2 and Mars are. And Kate Spade had Saturn K2 in Capricorn, where Mars and K2 are transiting right now. I find it very interesting that I looked at Anthony Bourdain's daughter's chart, and she had her moon in Cancer. So you see, anyone that's got this duality of these signs will feel this deep sense of loss, and we have the ability to step in and take charge, get help, but remember at the culprit of everything. Love is a cohesive bond that heals. And love is what will bring us happiness. And that's what we're all seeking, and that is the core issue of feeling unhappy, unwanted, unloved. And this does initiate from conditions from childhood, but it can be healed. And that is my most powerful message throughout these really incredibly difficult times ahead for us with the disruption. But those that can keep it together can help those that are in despair. And I will say that things are about to transform, because what is coming in is a higher consciousness. And I do believe there is going to be help from spiritual beings, as well as possible beings from other worlds that will come in during these critical times. And healing will always prevail through an awakening of higher consciousness. The planet Earth and the evolution of humanity is transforming. And throughout all of these difficult times, we will grow in consciousness. You will see this is a wonderful, beautiful world that is evolving. And yes, these are amazing times to be alive. So with that, I'd like to close. If you would like transcripts concerning this material in even more detail, you can go to my website, which is galacticcenter.org. And don't forget to sign up for the newsletter. In the newsletter, you will have these transcripts delivered to you personally. So go to my website, galacticcenter.org, and as well, you could sign up for a reading if you would like to have a reading. If these are incredibly stressful times for you, you may need the help, as well as if you would like to learn Vedic astrology, please go to my university, which is University of Vedic Astrology.com. And remember, everything that I have been referring to is the sidereal Vedic zodiac, not the Western tropical zodiac, which falls backwards, which this will fall backwards, a sign from those placements. And last but not least, remember, I would love for you to come to my conference, which is going to be here in Dallas, Texas, October 5th through the 7th. And we will meet and talk all things astrology. So thank you for listening, and we will get through the month of July. Thank you.